How nice was this moment, this close for you? Kind of in a new situation to have a finish like that.
It was nice. It was nice to be a part of that, and Steph hitting that shot to force overtime, and for us to find a way to win the game, it feels really good.
How about that part of it? The Steph aspect and just being on the Warriors. How unique is the feel of being out there in that type of environment with them?
Yeah, I mean it's. Those are difficult shots, shots that that you need those to go down, and to be a part of that, it's pretty special. Playing these type of games, it's a great team, one of the best teams in our league, and for us to be able to find a way to win that's pretty special.
Al, you talked a lot about you picked this position, this team, because you knew they had a chance to play special games. You obviously played against them. And when you're in the middle of it, you're seeing Steph do that, Jimmy do that, you're hitting a three. At any point you're going, yeah, this is why I'm here, this is why I picked this situation?
Yeah, I mean, it's, I'm fortunate to be in this position. And for these moments, it's what you play for, and understanding that, that we still have a long ways to go. But to be able to come here and take, Denver was great tonight. Aaron Gordon was great, and everything they were doing to take their best shot and still be there and manage to get it to overtime, and be a part of this game. It's what I'm excited to be here for.
Al, your first official game here as a Warrior with this home crowd. Just what do you think of the environment, especially late in regulation and into overtime?
Energy was great. Fans were really into it and helping us. Just a very, very fun atmosphere, and different guys coming in and contributing. And we talked about the Steph shots, but then Jimmy hits that big three from the top of the key, and that was also a special play. But just in general, all the guys coming in and we're trying to do our part, and just a lot of fun to be a part of that.
Last one over here on the left.
Steph said that jumbo lineup that closed in overtime, you guys had never practiced together in that lineup. How are you guys able to be so seamless in overtime, just know each other's movements and everything?
We're kind of fighting for our lives there. At the end, just trying to get stops, trying to do whatever we can on the defensive end, and then on offense, just continuing to figure it out, and playing off of Steph, playing off of Draymond and Jimmy, and I'm just, I was just trying to be out there trying to make plays, but for us, it's just playing to win. And with that lineup, even though we haven't played together, that was the feeling behind it. Defensively, we wanted to do a good job defensively, and then on offense, making sure that we're getting to space and that we're getting good looks and we're not turning the ball over.
When did you kind of decide to go to the jumbo lineup late? And I mean, was that like a coach's discussion?
Yeah, it was during a timeout. Terry suggested it. Chris DeMarco also suggested it. They just thought the way Steph was going with Jimmy out there, we were going to score. That was my biggest concern. Could we execute? They just reminded me we have Steph and Jimmy, and they'll find a way to score, and they did. And it was fantastic to watch the defense with that kind of size and length. Our guys did a great job finishing what was just a phenomenal basketball game.
I know you've spent, probably a month talking about various combinations. Is that one you even thought you might go to?
We never even talked about that combination until tonight. But it just felt like the right thing to do. I mean, they were having their way with us throughout the game. They shot 54%. Gordon with 50. I mean, we just couldn't stop them. And so we felt like to win the game, we were going to have to get our best defensive lineup on the floor, our most athletic lineup, and obviously Steph and Jimmy, handled the offensive side of the ball, but we had a lot of guys step up and make big plays. Al knocking down shots, J.K. with the steal, the layup, the big rebound down the stretch. So it was really fun to watch that group that's never played together close a game against one of the best teams in the league.
Steve, down the stretch, how good was Draymond Green? He had the stop on Jokic to force overtime. Then in overtime, seemed like he had several big plays on the defensive side of the floor.
Yeah, it was huge. I mean, part of the benefit of playing the bigger lineup was we could put Draymond on Murray, which our defensive coaches were suggesting, just so that he could switch the pick and roll with Al, and so he ended up on Jokic, and Draymond has just an incredible knack for making enormous defensive plays. He just has a feel for angles and beating people to the spot, and then being able to challenge with those long arms and that anticipation, and that was quite a play.
Just to confirm, Steph said he didn't think this group had ever, even in practice, played together.
No.
Yeah, and in this lineup, who's the shooting guard?
You make the pick.
I was going to say Draymond, probably.
Jimmy,
Draymond, maybe?
Jimmy or JK, I guess.
Okay.
Draymond's the 4, Al's the 5. But it doesn't matter, and that's kind of modern basketball, positionless play, two-way play. If you can space the floor, this is why Al is just such an enormous addition for us. The ability to put him on Jokic down the stretch, and then also have him stretch the floor and make big shots. That's why he's the player he is.
I was say, could you go up minutes with him because he's not playing tomorrow night a little bit? Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve. Seems like there are a lot of overtimes happening right now, right? Already at the beginning of the season. How are you planning to prepare the team, to get ready, from the physical?
I'm sorry, I can't quite hear you.
Oh, I said, it seems like there are a lot of overtimes happening right now already at the beginning of this NBA season. How are you planning to prepare the team to get ready for this?
Yeah, I mean, you have to be in great condition, and I'm glad we were able to keep the minutes down, in regulation, so that even in a 53-minute game, you look at the box score, it's not bad. Steph at 37, Jimmy at 38. Obviously, we don't, want to do that all year long, but certain games require this kind of commitment. It's a huge win for us with the back-to-back tomorrow. We're going to be shorthanded. Al won't play. We'll play a lot of people tomorrow to use our depth and try to go get another one. But, this was a great win against a great team.
What did you see change in that third quarter in particularly?
I felt like every time we had a chance to really control the game, there was a loose ball, a turnover, a run out that kept them close enough. And then obviously he got going, which is what he does, legendary player. But we had chances, end of the first half was a killer. Some of the turnovers late in the third, just you have to stay clean in a building like this with what can happen with a player like that. So I'll say it right now, I feel awful for Aaron. Aaron had a night that, I'll never forget. I know he won't. So tough loss, had many chances to win the game, control the game, and you give them credit, they just kept coming.
How would you describe this night from Nikola?
I thought Nikola was good. He missed some shots he doesn't miss. The one at the end I thought was a great look. I thought he got taken out on the offensive rebound, but that doesn't matter now. He had some really good looks from three, the way they guarded in the drop coverage. They stopped full rotating. That was a good look from him. The guy doesn't shoot well, but efficiently at least, and gets his triple-double, and does his thing. So we had a lot of guys have good performances, just not enough to win the game tonight.
With Steph, there were parts of the game where you guys were able to get the ball out of his hands pretty well and show him bodies, all of that. He's also so good at sort of finding those pockets, even when someone's chasing. Was there anything later in the game that you thought CB or Yoke or anyone else could have done better, or did it just reach a point where he was in that groove?
No, I thought a few times we didn't send him in the direction of the defense. If he gets the other way, there's no one on the other side of that pick. And that's what he got going with. And the shot he made to tie towards the end, it's a shot that, only he can make. But obviously you have to be up more. I think guys got hesitant because they did call a few things where, a little bit of contact, you got the call, so you don't want to give up a 4-point play up 3. But the hope was to make him drive the ball to the basket. And obviously we weren't up enough, and he made an unbelievable shot.
With with AG, he has a tendency to have these games at Golden State. Is there just something about sort of the hometown area for him, you think, when he comes here?
I guess you're right. He's had a lot of big moments here, big-time games, and he was so good tonight. And I thought he did it in a really efficient, smart way. He wasn't forcing it. He found the shots, by letting his teammates, move the ball side to side. He had the and one at the end where he got the matchup. No, he was just super clean tonight. He ran our stuff well in the split game. AG's a special player. He has been for us for a long time. So it's a great night, obviously, for him, a tough night for the team to take an L on a night. We really want to do that for Aaron.
Hey, Coach. Back to Aaron. Everyone says, they put in the work. We see everyone out there doing the shooting work every single day.
Yeah.
What is it specifically about Aaron where, 29% a couple of years ago and now to what he did last season and obviously what he did tonight? What is it about him that you think has made it been able to be successful at this stage in his career?
I mean, there's a calmness to his shot. I think that's pretty noticeable. It's just the fundamentals are calm. And when he shoots the ball, he takes his time. And a guy with that kind of size and that ability to blow by you and dunk the ball, you're going to take your time closing out to him so he can take his time shooting the ball. And I think he's figured that out. And like you said, it's just the constant work, constant maintenance and making sure he's consistent. So it's been really cool to see him, transform as a shooter over the years.
Coach, right here.
Yep.
So on the Steph tying three, Steve Kerr put in a bunch of offensive players. He ties it. You elected to go for the timeout there instead of playing it out since you had your starters on the floor. Why did you elect to go for the timeout there instead of just keeping everyone on the floor? Just
wanted to make sure we got the right people in a combination pick and roll. The way they were guarding by switching and kind of zoning up the roll. We wanted to talk about the formation and making sure we twisted the pick, which allowed Nikola, to roll to an open area. I didn't want them to go out there and just play. It just seemed like a moment. Let's calm down for a second. What just happened to us? Let's make sure we take the last shot. And Nikola got a great look. He really did. And he flipped the pick appropriately. That's what we were looking for. That was a really good pass by Jamal. It just didn't work out.
How do you make sure the sting of this loss doesn't bleed into Saturday's home opener?
Because there's 81 left. I mean, there's, 41 at home and 40 on the road. It was a game I'm sure they'll replay. I mean, it was a crazy game. These are NBA nights. These things happen. But like I told them in there, if we won tonight and we went and stubbed our toe at home, what's the difference? It's 1-1. So we have to refocus ourselves, new opponent on Saturday, get ourselves going at home.
Dave, you mentioned Steph, legendary player. What is it like as a coach knowing that you guys can do what you want sometimes and he's still going to put one up from 35 or 40 and knock it down?
Yeah, and I thought they did a good job kind of bringing him from different parts of the floor where he wasn't the vocal point from the beginning, which makes it harder to be up to force him to the basket. And, there's a million things after a game like this where you could say, you change the matchup, they'll still put somebody else in that situation, a pick and roll, regardless of how you cross match, whatever it may be. So, look, it's a tough loss for us. First game of the season, a little more emotional as you get into the grind of it. But our guys have been through a lot, and they'll bounce back.
What did you think of the way Jamal controlled the game?
Yeah, he was really good. I thought they started to hit the ball in pick and rolls, and we got to make sure he's in the center of the court so it's easier for him to facilitate. Double teaming him and then pre-rotating to the roller was effective at certain times. But I liked how he took his time. They were in a lot of different coverages with Nikola. Sometimes he's got to be the aggressor. He made a lot of really good decisions, get people great shots. That was the thing about tonight. I think both teams, they created a ton of good looks. We had, missed layups at the end where we had control of the game. Moved the ball to Cam the one time in overtime. I thought that was a great look. CB screened in the rotation. So there's a lot of positives. It just wasn't our night.